So what year is this one?
84.
So this is 40 years old. Tell us what's special about this car.
Well, if you look inside of it, it's like you said, it's a first generation Dodge Caravan. But if you look between the seats, it's a factory order 4-speed.
With a 4-speed. That's unbelievable. So look at the seats. I mean, they look brand new, right? It looks brand new. If you look the pedal, the clutch pedal, the brake pedal, the rubber looks like it's still crisp. It's not all worn out. So if you look at the odometer, it's 07878. So it's got 7,878 miles on this car.
But it's funny because when people come back here and see it, they go, wow, you guys have a minivan? The Henry Ford has one on display.
Right, I've seen it.
I mean, it was a game changer in that era.
The minivan was an extension of the K car kind of platform. You could buy a K car, 2-door, 4-door, station wagon, convertible. They all worked on the same philosophy, front wheel drive, 4-cylinder, and they were amazing. And you know, Chrysler still builds a version of this today. When was the last time you saw one this pretty? I'm happy to see this. I would own this car. 4-speed, I love it. I'd put a rack on there with surfboards and be my modern Woody.
Yep, make sure you clear the post.
We could probably just leave it like right here. So what are we looking at here?
It's a 1916 Packard Twin 6 touring car that was owned by Henry Joy.
And Henry Joy was?
The president of Packard at that time.
Wow. So it probably has things that other Packards didn't have. The one thing I noticed here, maybe I'm wrong, but it's got a built-in parking light, driving light, fog light, right into the headlight.
Yeah, optional on the bigger cars. And then if you look inside of it, on the floor, it's got a speedometer. It's got a lot of the additional things.
Oh yeah, so 27,740 miles on this. So, and this is powered by what motor? Is it a
big Packard Twin 6?
Are these a pressure relief for the compression?
Yep.
So Twin 6, was it really 2 6-cylinder motors with a common crankshaft? Or?
That I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What I find interesting about this car, it's got Lincoln Highway logo here, and even in the motor meter, Lincoln Highway. I happen to know a bit about Lincoln Highway because I wrote a book about driving a Model T across the United States on the Lincoln Highway. The Lincoln Highway was the first cross-country road built. It was not built as a highway, so to speak. If there was a road going in this direction, another one over here, another one over here, they just kind of mapped them together, and there was a way to go from the eastern terminus, which was in Manhattan, 42nd Street and Broadway, right next to the H&M store. I'm not sure H&M clothing was there at the time, all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
Wow.
And most of the way across the country, it's Highway 30 until you get to Montana, and Highway 30 becomes Interstate 80. So the speed limit there is 80, and a lot of those trucks are doing 90, and I'm in a Model T doing 35. It was interesting. So what is the story with this car and the Lincoln Highway?
Well, Joy was a proponent of the Lincoln Highway, and actually this car was at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Lincoln Highway.
That was 1913, I think. Well, you know what? The 1913 was the start of the Lincoln Highway.
Right. So this would have been the finale. This is when the two roads came together, and we have pictures of this where they've got the ribbon, and literally they're out there with the ribbon, and this car's in the background.
Wow.
So those are commemorative pieces that were given to folks that were at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Lincoln Highway.
I wonder where that was, middle of the country maybe?
Yeah.
The Packard plant is 10, 15 miles from here, and you have no idea how large it is. It's like
1.5 million square feet.
Isn't that something? It's like a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And everything was done right there. Upholstery, painting, manufacturing. Amazing facility that it ran its course. Ask a man who owns one was the advertising slogan. And they're fabulous cars. And the fact that this is here 1916, so 109 years later or something, just amazing. Just amazing. Well, that's a color, like candy apple red.
I actually I had it at Autorama, and Gene Winfield walked up to it and went, "I can't remember if I painted this one or Jeffries did." So he walked around it for a little while and looked at it, and he goes, I think Jeff did this one because I don't remember it. And so I picked this. Okay, well, do me a favor. How would you have painted these? He goes, well, with this stuff, it's nitrocellulose. So you do about 20 coats of it, let it sit overnight, sand it, do a bunch more coats of it, and then pull it outside and look at it, walk all the way around it. And if it's clean and it's not mottled anywhere, then you polish it. If not, you scuff it and do another bunch of coats on it until it looks the way you want it to look. So this car's been repainted once since its original debut. It ran the auto show circuit in '63, and then it was on the dais when they debuted the Mustang in '64 at the World's Fair. This one, the color is not as awe-inspiring, but
There are 20 times as many Cobra enthusiasts as there are even Cobras on Earth. And these cars stand out as probably two of the rarest Cobras ever built, even though they don't look like a Cobra. Tell us how your museum came to own these cars.
well, I can tell you what we know.
Okay.
Of course, as you know in these cars, half of it is conjecture and myth and urban lore. And Detroit is full of stories of automotive urban lore. We know the basic history on them. We know that one was a show car, was the car of the year at the New York Auto Fair in '63, on the dais when they debuted the Mustang in '64. The Bourdonnais Cobra XD really was a styling car. It was at Dearborn. All the pictures we have of it are at the Dearborn Development Center on that red brick wall that you know from all the Ford Spy photos. So that one was really kind of the stepsister to the Cobra. They were given to the museum in the '80s, both in the same lot. We got these two cars, a cutaway Cobra engine, a cutaway Explorer transaxle in that lot. Again, conjecture. To my mind, it means that they were supposed to be disposed of earlier, as show cars generally are. They found them in a warehouse and went, okay, we got to get these out of here because they've been off the books for 20 years and now suddenly they're here. So all we know is that somebody from Ford came to us and said, we have these vehicles, would you like them for your collection? And of course, who wouldn't want them for their collection?
So this was 40-ish years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've had them for a while, and like you say, they've been out for some engagements. Famously, the Shelby Group came and got them cleaned and prepped for when the Society of Automotive Engineers convention was here, and they were in the lobby. They've been to a couple concours. Obviously, we talked about them at Detroit when you and I caught up. But it's amazing to have them in collections. And I tell everybody, I'm the automotive industrial curator. I know a lot about all of these cars.